Hey there! Today we're gonna take a look at this Pulse Oximeter, and first a small disclaimer: don't take this as a medical advice. This video isn't meant as a medical advice. This is just an exploration of the technology behind this, and also a bit of explanation what people get wrong about it. So keep in mind that this should be used by trained medical personnel. Because allow me to explain a little bit. I saw a video about 2 months ago about there was this lady nurse that showed that face mask doesn't decrease your oxygen level and so on, so she put the oximeter on her finger, showed the 98 or something value, and then because it was a TikTok type of video, she danced a little bit and so on with a face mask on, and then showed that it was almost exactly the same, and it was 2-minute video, which again I'm not sure how that would in 2 minutes decrease your oxygen level, even if I mean, you know, this video didn't make a lot of sense. So but I was a little bit curious, so I got myself one of those. Keep in mind one thing, that there are common different designs, some of them, you know, different colors, but some of them have just a LED screen, I mean LED digital screen, so not something like here the LCD, and they are doing basically exactly the same thing. So this is what you get. That's the oximeter, lanyard, instruction booklet, and I think, okay, then we have a quality check pass. So, and they claim to be produced by a German brand, but and also you have to get yourself to AAA cells to run it. But well, what I was reading this instruction booklet, and allow me to explain how exactly does it work, because well, if you are this is exactly the oximeter in a sense, how your indicator in your car is a fuel gauge. It only indicates the fuel if you put the fuel there. Because if I put any amount of water in my tank in the car, this fuel gauge could still show it's full, but it's not fuel there. You know, that's a simple explanation. But let me show you a bit of exploration how exactly does it work. So it has 2 LED lights over here, over your finger. So if I remember correctly, on this side actually, and it shines, it doesn't really matter, it shines through your finger on the 2 photodiodes. Those LEDs are 660 and 880 nanometers, if I recall correctly. One of them is a red LED, and the other one is infrared. And based on the photodiode, what photodiode gets, it tries to extrapolate the contents of the oxygen in your blood. Oxygen is being carried by hemoglobin, so the red part, let's say the red color of your blood is because of the hemoglobin. So it changes color, so very oxygenated blood is a lighter color, and blood without oxygen will be a dark red. So the main problem that even this booklet mentions is, for example, it's posted here as an example, if you have a carbon monoxide poisoning in your body, it will still show you high percentage of the oxygen level, and this is this indicator here, SpO2. So this is the indicator of extrapolated oxygen level based on the color of your received on the photodiode of your from the infrared and red LEDs. Again, one other thing, it will indicate a very high oxygen level when there is a high amount of light that shines through here, and also because of many other factors. So you have to have very clean fingers and so on. So it can help with that. But then again, if you have other kind of poisoning in your body, so other kind of gases that are being carried by hemoglobin, the carbon monoxide is one of the examples. It can also indicate a high value. So don't go, this isn't an actual oxygen level. This is an oxygen level in the perfect situations here. It can also show you the bits per minute. It isn't perfectly precise, but it's fairly okay. It's within a range. This little booklet explains exactly what are the error of those readings. And here are two animations going on. So this should be theoretically your blood pumping and so on, and this should be a chart of your blood pumping. So it's not great. This is only an animation, so you can completely ignore this. This is not meant as a kind of reading or anything like that. I couldn't make it to change its shape. So this device isn't meant to be in use by non-medical personnel. So I have my suspicion that this lady on the video wasn't an actual nurse, because she wouldn't show this like using this little meter, because it doesn't exactly show you the oxygen level as would the blood test show you. So it was kind of pop science video mixed with a TikTok that isn't actually helping, because it brings you, it gives you an outlook at this that you don't actually, this isn't a proper reading. Also, this indicator over here, the PI percentage, should show at least 0.4, and as far as I can tell, it won't start reading your oxygen level if it's lower, because from 0.4 is the precision, to be exact, the precision of the reading that starts to make sense. The higher the percentage, the better. Usually I can get 10, 15, something like that, but that also depends on the humidity level, the temperature, and so on, because that would change the how your skin and so on is actually transparent. So since we now know exactly that it actually checks for the absorption of specific color and light lengths, I can show you what is inside. Here is the back plate. So we have those batteries here. I won't be removing them because I want to show you something. We have the two rubber panels. Here's the light. Here's the light sensor. Allow me to try and open this. It only has one button, and all that it does is change the screen orientation and turns it off. If you hold it, I can start by taking this out. So we have this button over here, and here is the LCD screen. I think it's an LCD screen because I think this is the backlighting. If you look closely, I cannot get my camera to focus at this range. Here is the main chip that does, I think, all the things. Here are some, the battery terminal. This is a plus, if I say correctly. These are some digital plus and minus. Presumably, you should be able to communicate with this device. Presumably, this could be for calibration, or this part could be for calibration. It does say in the instruction booklet that it is calibrated in the factory before being sent, and it should be calibrated once a year at least. Also, curiously, it does say that it shouldn't be on the finger for more than 2 hours, which, well, okay. I don't think anyone will be measuring anyone for that long. This is just to do a quick check and then do a proper reading. So as you can see, light shines through. Let me turn it on again. Light is shining through. Those are the LEDs, and this is the photodiode. I was looking at the datasheet of this chip, so it's this one, and it runs at 48 megahertz. It seems to have 60 kilobytes of memory, but also a data flash of 1 kilobyte. So no, that would be the EEPROM, so that would be a programmable memory, and the flash that it can store the data presumably is in the news. It also has RAM and XRAM, 256 bytes and 1 kilobyte, but Either way, looking at this, it's basically an all-in-one chip with some GPIO ports. Let's see, GPIO, it has like 18 connectors, if I'm... Yeah, that's interesting. So, and it also can run on different voltages, and it's a very flexible all-in-one chip that basically is programmed to, yeah, that's the memory. That's the memory here. That is basically programmed to run this little device and also run the screen and extrapolate the data. It's either trying to figure out that based on the saved information, so it has a lookup table, or it tries to measure the output of the photodiode and tries to calculate this, because if you take a look at the patent of this, just type in oximeter patent, you will find a formula that you can calculate the what kind of reading. It's based on the response of the let's say the light from the photodiode. One other thing I wanted to mention is the price. So I bought it for $3. You can buy it for $2.50 to $4. Those prices are okay generally, and that was including shipping. It took 2 weeks or something like that. So consider this, that I found this exact device in my local shop for $30, but also it was sold in the other shops for $50 in my country. And I was only able to get it for so cheap from AliExpress. So someone is trying to, you know, cash in on this. And then again, this device is meant for medical professionals that know exactly how does it work, how does it respond to the light, and you know the principles. So the normal human being like me that isn't a medical professional is not able to use this device except if it indicates a very low values, but very high values can be false positives. So that isn't really helpful. So personally, I would use this device mostly for the BPM value, maybe if you are doing some kind of cardio training. But that oxygen level, well, that's a general reading. If you know you don't have any other health issues apart from problems with your lungs getting oxygen. So that's a very specific situation, and again, it should be always consulted with a medical professional. You may also remember this cheap smartwatch that I reviewed. It also has a functionality to check your oxygen level, so the SpO2, but without the PI indicator, so you cannot tell how precise it is. It also shines a light on your skin and has a photodiode checking the let's say red light response, and it's fairly in the same region. But I noticed that bits per minute are all over the place here for some reason. Here it's fairly okay, but again, it isn't a very precise device. As you can see, it still discovers my pulse, so yeah, it should reset back to the finger gun, but for some reason it's still keeping it gone. I also noticed that sometimes it stops working or hangs on exactly the same reading for a few minutes, so you may want to turn it off and on again. In case this happens, it should change all of those values actually, at least the PI and the bits per minute. So you would know exactly that it is still working and processing the data. It can hang, so there you go. And again, don't expect finding a properly made oxygen pulse oximeters like this. There won't be any difference in quality, believe me. The principle it works on, it cannot provide you with a more precise information. So obviously those that are at the hospital are a little bit different because they are being calibrated and a little bit more precise, but for normal people that aren't working at the hospitals, you cannot have possibly any device that costs $50 that is actually much more precise or working in a better way, because the principles are very, very simple. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this helps you anyhow to understand how does this work, and also, you know, always consult a medical professional, and see you guys next time.